Hi everyone, I hope you are having a wonderful start to your August. I am here to do my usual monthly wrap-up and show you all of the spreads that I did in the month of July. It's the usual lineup, but I also have a new cute little notebook to share. Okay, I'm gonna get started with my reading journal. Sometimes in my monthly update videos, I also include mini stationery hauls of things that I acquired in the month. And in July, I did acquire quite a few things, but I'm gonna post a collective stationery haul in about 2 weeks, I think. Anyways, gonna get started with my reading journal. So July wasn't a very good reading month in terms of like the entries that I made, but I did finish one really short book and I started a new book, and I made very little progress in my ongoing books. I'm gonna show you what I did finish though. So the book that I finished is called Distant Light. I gave this one 3.5 stars, leaning more towards 4, I think. I really did enjoy it and I thought it was really whimsical. This was a book I borrowed from a friend, so I wanted to get through it as quickly as possible so I could return it. So yeah, there's that. And I also finally started reading Family Happiness by Leo Tolstoy. And I say finally because I picked up a copy of this book when I was in London last May. So it has been well over a year now. And yeah, recently I have just been not really feeling like continuing my longer books in progress. Again, just because I have been a little bit busy, so I decided to crack open this short little story. And yes, I often use like my bits of my stickers and notepads as bookmarks. And I'm still pretty early in this book, so I only have this little entry. And yeah, again, I don't think I made much progress in my other books. For An Immense World, I read a little bit and wrote some notes, but I ran out of space, so I'm going to continue writing later on. So yes, that is everything for my reading journal. I don't think I will be able to read much more in August, but we will see. Alright, next up is my Commonplace Journal. I'm not too sure if this was from June or July, but this was a review about RGB and CMYK color modes. I brought out a bunch of my fountain pen colors to draw these diagrams. I recently subscribed to American Scientist, which is a magazine, and I read one of the articles called Ball in the Air. This was an article basically about the aerodynamics of the World Cup football, which was very relevant. I drew some diagrams over here. And then this was an article that I read called Why Some Irrational Numbers Are More Irrational Than Others. And the article was exactly about what the title says. And that is it for my Commonplace Journal. Again, it has been a bit of a busier month. And to be honest, mentally, I'm kind of struggling a bit more these days. So yeah, I haven't had much time nor energy to write in this journal. So that is that. Then I have my Hobonichi Weeks, which is my health and fitness record keeper. And this is my monthly step tracker. Now that we're over halfway through the year, I will say I'm really pleased with how this like plotted graph turned out. I think it's actually really nice to see like all of the steps averages at the top and then visually see my progress throughout the year. The sun is like coming in and out, so sorry if there's like sudden lighting changes. Then I have my weekly section. Starting off not very strong. I was, as noted, out of town for this week, so instead of like, I don't know, doing some empty variation of my spread, I just lettered that in and stuck on a vinyl and some washi tapes. This was a really colorful and funky week. I got a bunch of these like washi samples of really bright and bold, fun washi tapes, but I don't know where they're from. If any of you recognize this, do let me know because I would love to purchase a full roll. This was evidently a struggle bus sort of week. And I guess I wanted to like turn the week around and write a highlight, but I never ended up writing a highlight. So I think this sums up my week pretty well. I also do like how I used little squiggles to separate the columns. this was last week, and I did a matching spread in my Hobonichi Cousin, and I don't think I finished filling out Sunday. Oh, and I guess this week I felt like tracking things that were on sale at the grocery store again. If you have been watching for a while, you probably know that it was something that I used to do, but then I stopped doing it at some point, and now I kind of feel like doing it again, so there's that. Although this week I did not do that. This week has been particularly difficult for me. As you can see, I was rotting on Thursday, and yeah, I just haven't been really energized for anything. But yeah, hopefully next week will be a little bit better. I used a bunch of these cat stickers at the bottom, and I basically took inspiration from this to set my color palette. I haven't shown the back side of my Hobonichi Weeks in a while, so I will just quickly show you. This is how my travel packing list is going. I have done 3 trips so far, and I have another one in August. This is also my cleaning tracker, which I haven't filled out for July yet. These are basically things that you don't really need to clean, or like rather you don't typically have the time and energy to clean every week or something. So I tend to do these things like maybe once a month or once every other month. And yeah, I think that is all I will show for my Hobonichi Weeks this time. Before I get into doing my Hobonichi Cousin flip through, I am going to quickly show you my new sketchbook. I think 2 videos before this one, I made a flip through video of the sketchbook. It is a Rhodia dot grid pad, and I really did enjoy sketching in this little booklet. I absolutely adore Rhodia paper for fountain pens, but the main issue with this one for me was the binding, because it got really hard to sketch, especially towards the end. So yeah, I was in the market for a new sketchbook, and I actually considered making my own out of Rhodia paper, but I realized that I simply do not have the time right now, and if I keep putting off making my own sketchbook, then I'm just like not gonna sketch in the meantime. So I decided to just like suck it up and pick a sketchbook. My criteria was that it has to be like a small pocket size, kind of like A7 size. It has to have spiral binding or some form of like flat lay binding, and of course it has to be fountain pen friendly. So I ended up with this Kokuyo soft ring notepad. It has grid pages on the inside. Every page is perforated, and the spirals, as the name indicates, it is a soft ring, so it doesn't really get in the way if you put your hand against the spiral. As for the paper, I looked into it and it seemed to be fountain pen friendly, but I didn't expect it to be like on the level of Rhodia. And I will have to say, like, the paper isn't my favorite. I think it works well just as like a regular notebook, but there is a lot of feathering on the paper. I will say it doesn't bleed through. These were just some swatches, and it doesn't look too bad here. And as you can see, there's no bleed through to the other side or like ghosting at all. I don't know if you can tell, but when I sketch and use like inkier pens, it just doesn't perform as well as Rhodia. Like there will be random places where it starts feathering, and I feel like I can't get as precise of a sketch. However, to be fair, like this memo pad, it's not supposed to be a sketchbook, so I don't think it was intended for someone to like go over the same spot with ink over and over again. That said, I'm gonna continue using it and fill it all the way up because it still works and there's no reason to waste all of this paper. I will very quickly do a flip through. So for the cover, I kept it really simple. I just put down this Creativity Juice vinyl. Even though this vinyl fits on the cover, I thought it would be cool to kind of put it on the corner. So I actually trimmed the edge of the vinyl so it's kind of like peeking out from the corner, and this way you can also see all of the text on the side. I thought this was a cute idea. Maybe I'll do something here at some point. And then, as I showed earlier, I have my pen swatch page. Not really formally like swatching all of my pens in here, but just like whenever I try out a new pen and ink combo in the sketchbook and I'm not really sure how it's going to perform, then I can just use this page to do that. First page of a sketchbook is always a little bit daunting, but I just like try not to think too much about it, so this isn't anything too special. I just have some sketches for the 2027 calendars. This is the heading for my workshop reference guide sort of thing, and then some ideas for board game emojis. This is a mini review of this sketchbook, and essentially I wrote the same thing as what I just said a few minutes ago. And of course, when I'm like focused on doodling and doing fun lettering, I often just like throw spelling and grammar out the window. So I know how to spell sketchbook, but that didn't stop me from making this error. Then we have some getting ready with like makeup and perfume, and also getting dressed with a hanger and also like bows and ties. I love this bloody hell emoji so much, and I definitely need to make stickers of it, or like a vinyl maybe. Anyways, we have some like looking forward to doodles and also some speech bubbles. More 2027 collection stuff. Some notes about washi tapes, musical emojis, which again, as you can see, like on the other pages it's fine, but for certain inks it just feathers a lot. We have this crying puddle emoji and also a frequent crier card, which was kind of like my joke on frequent flyer cards, like for airplanes and stuff. I mean airlines. Anyways, some ideas for vinyls, and then updated popcorn emojis and doodles, emoji functional stickers, tabs, band-aid doodles, updated chef emojis, and that is it. I'm not sure I will do flip throughs every month, but I will maybe include it in this update video once in a while. Next up, I'm going to talk about my Hobonichi Cousin. Before I get started, in my June planner update, I posed a question asking people to guess what is like the record number of hard-boiled eggs I have eaten in a single day. Lots of good guesses, and I promised that I would reveal the answer in July's planner update. So the answer is, my record for the most number of eggs I have eaten in a single day is 13 eggs. I don't want any questions about it. It was a phase. I'm just kidding. Not about the 13 eggs. I actually did eat 13 eggs. But yeah, I went through an egg phase where I was just obsessed with eggs, and I like knew the prices of all of the eggs in my nearby grocery stores. I would like track the prices every week. Anyways, I will stop talking about eggs. Starting off with the monthly section, this is the July monthly spread. And the sidebar is kind of unfinished, but that's okay. And I was really excited about some of the World Cup games, so I just used these watercolor dots to highlight the semifinals, third place, and finals. Oh, and July's theme is one of my favorites of 2026. It is called Strawberry Picnic, and I think it is so cute. Apparently had a breakdown on this day, and I watched the Odyssey. And for once, I actually plan for the next month in advance. Usually in my update videos, I don't get to show you the next month's spread because I am always a little bit late. August is a nautical theme, and this is probably my top favorite theme of 2026. It's hard to pick, but this is definitely up there. I will be going to Chicago mid-month to teach some workshops, which I'm really excited about, and also spend some time with my friend. My 26th birthday is on Thursday, and to celebrate, I plan to finish the 2027 collection October clip art. What is more exciting is that the birthday event is probably going to be late in the month because I obviously have the workshops, and my nephew Luca, he's turning 3 on the 28th, which is really exciting. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned this on YouTube, but my sister is expecting another baby boy around mid-September, so I'm gonna be an aunt to 2 nephews very soon. I am very, very excited about that. All right, so moving on to the weekly section. This is also an unfinished spread, which I am for sure going to go back and fill this out because this was the week that I was in Chicago to visit my friend. So I kind of want to document all of the memories. But yeah, it's mostly done. At the bottom, I used the city life emojis large doodles and created kind of like a scenery. And then at the top, I used various shades of gray Tombow markers, and I created kind of like a brick cement pattern. Let me zoom you in just a little bit. Oh, and on this day we had sushi together, and it was like an outing, and we kind of stayed out walking and stuff. So I basically cut up the receipt and pasted it in here, which I thought was a fun idea. Flying to Chicago. Yeah, so at the airport, like an hour before my flight, I discovered some issues with the European Union tax setup for our store, and I basically started, I don't use the phrase crashing out lightly, but I was quite literally crashing out, and I like bought Wi-Fi on the plane so that I could continue chatting with Shopify help about the setup. But anyways, moving on. This is a cute little sticker set. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically like a bunch of chores and like home stuff. The colors are really calming and I love it so much. I did a plan with me on this week. So this was the week of the World Cup semifinals and finals. So I doodled cute little flags at the top, and I also used this checkered washi from Lila Journals, which I thought like complemented the whole football theme very well. Oops. There we go. I also didn't finish the weekend. You guys know me by now. I always have trouble finishing off the weekends. Anyways, this week my friend stayed over, so it was kind of an out of routine week. There were a few like very, very hot days this week, so I put down this hottest day ever sticker. Thursday was when we watched The Odyssey. And oh my gosh, I love this bug-eyed emoji head so much. I think I already finished like 2 rows from that sticker sheet. And then this is this current week. I love this artwork so much. I got this sticker set when I went to London last May for the miso paper pop-up and workshops, and I have been hoarding it for over a year, so I finally decided to use it. I did a little bit of color coding just because like there's some reddish browns here, so I thought it would be fun to bring in some red into the writing. So essentially all of the black writing is like work related stuff, and all of the red all of the red writing is personal stuff. Right, let's move on to the daily section. I will warn you, July has a lot of flaps and cut up pages. So this was the weekend I went to Chicago, so I tipped in some sheets and made little tabs out of the headers. This was the travel day and a little recap of all of the issues I faced. On this day, I tried grits for the first time. We watched Project Hail Mary. There was a flash flood warning in Chicago, and we also went to the Art Institute of Chicago. Oh, and this is part of my plane ticket, which I stuck at the bottom. A very rainy day, and why did I write feet? Oh my gosh, I remember now. On my flight back from Chicago to Vancouver, the person next to me had their bare feet on the seat. But not only that, it was like coming into my seat, and I was like squished against my armrest because I did not want to be in contact with a stranger's feet. So that is why I wrote feet here. And I put down these letter stickers that spell out ew. I put down this clipping from the British Museum because I ordered an art print for my dad's, no, not dad's birthday, Father's Day, and it came on this day, so I just cut this up. Here I swatched some fun inks that my friends Linda and Sheila gifted me at one of our meetups. And then the 8th was obviously a very different sort of day. I think I was, again, just like super overwhelmed. So I find that making mind maps, oh my gosh. I often find that making mind maps really helpful. And also, I guess, brain dumping all of the things that are kind of on my mind. So I made a category for life things, self things, so things that are kind of in my head, internally with my body, stuff like that. And then work things. And I think this turned out really cool. Nothing too interesting here. Oh, actually, on this day, I realized that I forgot to cancel my New Yorker subscription, which was kind of a shame because I could have been reading articles for the past few months. I think I purchased like an annual subscription and I just forgot about it, which is not great and a big waste of money, but I've just been reading so many articles to kind of squeeze out whatever value I can until the expiry. We had another power outage, which was not great. I don't know why it keeps happening in my neighborhood. This was a World Cup day. We have England versus Norway and Argentina versus Switzerland. My parents have been loving going to blueberry U-pick farms, so they gave me so many blueberries. So many, in fact, that my freezer is completely full, and I also cannot feasibly eat all of the fresh ones. So at 1 a.m. I decided to make blueberry jam. On this day, I met up with my friend Cindy, who was visiting from Los Angeles. She was here for a work trip and we just decided to get dinner at Miso Taco. And these were some swatches of Sailor markers. As you can see, like these few days, I wasn't really feeling it. Like for example, my Pilot Vanishing Point ran out of ink and I was just way too lazy. I didn't want to refill it, so I just continued on with like a random color. This day was just not okay. I know like I still got some things done, but it just wasn't yeah, it wasn't a good day. Here I wrote bread, I think because I was doodling some bread emojis. Here I wrote dingus because I was so excited to watch one of the World Cup games on this day. And I was like, it's gonna be my reward after finishing like the new release stuff. And you know, I finished replying to a bunch of emails and comments and I had my Diet Coke and coffee and tea and water ready to watch the World Cup game until I realized that my streaming platform didn't have the rights to stream this particular game. So that's why I wrote dingus. Over here, kind of following along with the theme of being a dingus, I had my planner open on the floor and I was laughing so hard at a joke that I drooled on, or like rather spat, I guess, on my planner. So kind of gross. That is why I covered it up with a sticky note and I'm not going to show you my drool. All right, this is a very hectic, I don't know what to call this, like chaotic few spreads. I just basically went absolutely nuts with colors. Like there's no color coordination really. The initial inspiration were these produce stickers. So as you can see, I put a few on all of the pages. This one was originally an oval and I cut it into a shape of a sweet potato. But yeah, this was the week my friend stayed over, so it was kind of a busier week. This is when I started this sketchbook and I just peeled off the sticker and stuck it here. Of course, a very hot day. This is a sneak peek of my jet pens haul, which I think I will upload in about 2 weeks. And I was really pleased that this color 245 matches this produce sticker like perfectly. A little bit of empty space, maybe I'll fill that out with something else. And then we watched the Odyssey, so I made this little doodle. Did my chores. Lock in, and this will also be part of my stationery haul. This is my new ink. It is the Dominant Industry Earl Grey tea, and as a little sneak peek, that is the swatch. I have been obsessed with this color and I've been finding like every excuse to use it. I think it'll be really nice for fall as well. We had sushi on this day, so I just kept the receipt. And then this was the last day my friend was staying over, or like last full day. So we actually played with pastels, both oil pastels and soft pastels. I will actually show you. I haven't like played with pastels since probably elementary school, and pastels are very different from the mediums that I'm used to. So I'm not very good at it and used to the fact that I can't control how precise the lines are and stuff, but I think I did a decent job for my first try. So this was oil pastels, and then these are like soft pastels. I think I prefer the look of the oil pastels because it is so bright and I love the texture, but I think I prefer working with the soft pastels. Anyways, that was really fun. This was a very off day, just feeling really sad. Put down some pigeon stickers, these like sad raindrops, and a bunch of sad emojis as well. And then this was yesterday, not too interesting. I will mention, like, this part is like what peeks out when I flip things over. So this is where I kind of did a recap of the past few days. And this is also where I did some ink swatches, but for some reason, this ink, Black Cherry Wood, it was really, really inky and it bled to the other side. I will insert a picture somewhere of the bleed through. It's over here as well, which I will cover up with like a decorative sticker or something. So yeah, for today, I just like cut up some vellum and also a piece of paper and created like a ink splatter look, and I wrote literally ink bleed through underneath. You know, people always ask me, how do I cover up mistakes? I guess I cover them up, but I also like very obviously highlight them as well. So yeah, those were all of my spreads from July. And as for the back, I don't think I did much this month. So this is my product empties page. And I guess I started doodling a product empty, but I never finished the entry. And now I have no idea what the heck this is. Like, it is so ambiguous. I don't know what kind of container that is. I also haven't weighed my planner because it is only the 31st. I will weigh it tomorrow. So yeah, I think that is it for this video. A little bit of a anticlimactic ending. Thank you so much for your time and for watching. I hope you take care, and goodbye.